I'm Paula. If you were here from my previous video, you saw how one day I woke up and decided to just slap a coat of paint on my lower kitchen cabinets. I foretold that that project was likely to grow, and I was right. My husband got home and he was so happy with the update to the cabinets that overcame our inertia, and even though we want to completely remodel the kitchen, we appreciated the incremental change and decided that we could take it further. I chose this paint color, Nomadic Desert by Sherwin-Williams, because I felt like it really helped to pull what warmth there is in these gray floors out. Since my husband was the driver of this particular project, when we were painting these cabinets, we did it the right way. We painted the doors in place. My husband did remove the hardware, and we did paint the inside of the doors. Eye level, and I'm opening them a lot to get out cups and mugs and dishes. I'm very glad that he pushed us to go ahead and paint the inside of the frames and paint the inside of the doors as they should be. Once we had painted the cabinets with Nomadic Desert and stood back and looked around, we really kind of still felt like the room was a little heavy and dark. The gray walls were just a little bit too dark and they were still gray, and I really wanted the gray to go away. So even though we felt like the Nomadic Desert and the Sommelier were improvements to the kitchen, I guess we need to paint the walls. While we were debating on colors, it occurred to me that my Nomadic Desert Sommelier combination was remarkably close to peanut butter and jelly. And that was not intentional when I chose those two, but this is where we are. We are at peanut butter and jelly as our color scheme. So I decided to lean in, and well, what goes better with peanut butter and jelly than white bread? I really wanted to paint my kitchen a warm white. In a previous home, I had painted the trim Dover white. My husband, who had only ever painted trim unmixed bright white, was so happy with Dover white that where before he would never consider painting anything other than bright white, now he won't consider painting any trim, any color other than Dover white. I love my husband and I love being married to him, so agreeing to have Dover white as our trim color now and ever after, this is a small, pretty easy compromise to make. I had to find a color that worked with Nomadic Desert, Sommelier, and Dover white. And I did consider painting the walls Dover white in a different sheen than the trim, but I really felt like that would still be too bright and too stark and maybe a little bit too modern, and it just doesn't fit the aesthetic. So I was looking for a slightly warmer, slightly deeper white color, but still a white. I didn't want to add yet another color. So I ended on moderate white. When I was contemplating moderate white, I Googled it, and I did watch some YouTube reviews of moderate white, and I highly recommend that you do that. There are creators out there that do color reviews of the various paint colors, and they do have some very interesting insights into how that color performs in different rooms and in different lighting. And I even saw the person that did the review of moderate white specifically said that she didn't think it worked with Dover white at all, that it didn't pop, brought both colors down. I went ahead with it anyway. I felt like the kitchen cabinets were popping enough. It was okay for my walls and my trim to be subtle. Am I happy with moderate white? I'm moderately happy with moderate white. When I was looking at the chips and comparing them side by side and holding them up in different lights, I felt like they had enough contrast when I actually got it on the walls because of the change in color of the walls. Yeah, maybe I could have gone just a smidge deeper with a slightly different color than moderate white, but I'm not unhappy with it. And I would still consider using it again in other areas, but we'll see. We'll see how things warm up. So after we had painted the walls, the last thing we did to update the kitchen, and quite frankly, this definitely should have been the first thing we did to update the kitchen, is we replaced the bulbs in our ceiling fixtures. They, like every other bulb in this house, were 5,000 Kelvin daylight LED bulbs, which come across as very cold. 3,000 Kelvin bright white LED lights. And that, I think, is perfect. That is the right amount of light and the right amount of warmth for the kitchen. Would I have made different paint color choices if I already had the correct color light bulbs in the fixtures, there's a good possibility I would have chosen different paint colors. Not that I'm unhappy with what I chose, but it would have changed my perspective. Everything would have skewed a little bit differently. It could have gone in an entirely different direction, but that's okay. I'm willing to live with it. Incremental improvements, even if they're not perfect, still better. The best feedback we received on our kitchen was my youngest daughter was home from college, standing at the counter, making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And she stood there and she said, "You know, it feels good in here." And that is exactly what I want each room of my house to evoke. I want you to stand in there and go, "Yeah, it feels good in here." Doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm super happy that it's better. Better, and it feels good. That's what I'm going for in my home. Like, subscribe, and share with me some of your projects in the comments. I would love to hear from you.